This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the place for all your Pokemon TCG online needs. Looking for some Rebel Clash boosters? No problem, they got your back and deliver the codes instantly. So definitely check them out at PotownStore.com and use the coupon code ZapDoseTCG for 5% of your next order. Also, if you're from Europe, be sure to check out CardMarket.com. This is the best place for you to get physical cards. You can buy cards from people all across Europe as well as sell cards yourself. It's the best platform for buying and selling physical cards in Europe, and I personally use it every single day. So be sure to check out the website if you haven't already, cardmarket.com. What's up YouTube, it's ZapDoseTCG here and welcome to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. This is going to be an updated baby Blacephalon list. I had a couple of questions from you guys saying that how does baby Blacephalon look like after rotation? We're losing Fiery Flint, we're losing the Heat Factory Prism Star, we're losing Ultra Space, we're losing the big Blacephalon GX, Victini Prism Star, all the good stuff. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, Blacephalon will be as good as ever. You can always go second and rely on Energy Spinner. I'm gonna explain how this updated Baby Blacephalon deck works, but before I do that, be sure to mash the like button as always. That's and subscribe if you haven't already. That actually helps out the channel more than you would possibly think, so we can get these videos out every single day. Okay, without further ado, let's go with Baby Blacephalon. Blacephalon, I think you now need 4 copies of Blacephalon because typically we would rely on Blacephalon GX to end the game. Now we actually need 4 copies of Blacephalon. You might even think about adding Ordinary Rod as well, but I did not personally include it. Blacephalon is a very nice Pokemon, being able to explode on everyone with Fireball Circus, discarding any number of fire energies from our hand, and the attack dishes out 50 damage for every energy discarded in this way. It is not going to be as aggressive as before because in the past we had Fiery Flint, but yeah, if you go second, I always suggest going second. If you go second, you can rely on Energy Spinner, and that gets you 3 basic energies directly from the deck. If you go first, let's say the opponent decides, yeah, you can go first, well then we just get out Zacian and we use Intrepid Sword to get, of course, 3 cards straightly from the deck, just drawing 3 cards, and that's gonna help us out as well. All these cards are actually energy cards, even though you don't have to discard any of these cards, so that's why we now have a room for a reset stamp, which was previously not added into the list. It was like a card like saying, oh, I really want it, but I cannot afford to waste a slot, or it always gets discarded by Fiery Flint. Well, now we are actually going to include the reset stamp, which is going to help out against a lot of these archetypes. Let's say you explode on a VMAX, knock it out while using reset stamp, you're going to have a good time. We also have some scoop up nuts in here. I'm also still not a fan of Mewtwo from Broken Bonds. I would rather use Palpad to fill up our deck with more welders, because I want to use the scoop up nuts on Jirachi TEU, of course, build up on those Stellar Wish hands and get, of course, lots of resources. I know Fiery Flint is gone, but we do have Giant Heart, so we can still go crazy and explosively. We even have the Marshadow in here, being able to discard any stadium in play. The reason why Marshadow is in here is that there's going to be some decks running Chaotic Swell, and if Chaotic Swell is in play, we cannot slap down our Giant Heart, which is definitely going to be necessary. So yeah, this is our main attacker, Fireball Circus. We still have Welder. You could even try and include Pokegear, but with lots of scoop up nuts and switches, we're going to be using lots of Stellar Wishes, and these Stellar Wishes will most likely get ourselves the Welder. We can still tin out the deck with Giant Heart, which is going to be awesome, and if you go second, you can go crazy with Energy Spinner. And mark my words, in testing, it's even more ridiculous, because now we have Giant Heart as well as Energy Spinner, and that's going to be huge. That gets already 5 energy straight from the deck. You can use Welder. If there's in the discard pile, we still have Fire Crystal, so this deck survives. Also, with the loss of Blacephalon GX, we need an additional attacker which can attack for only 2 energies, and this is the perfect candidate, Victini V. It was personally in the early list of Blacephalon early on in the season, then people dropped it off for more consistency cards. For instance, the Dedenne-GX found its way, Victini Prism Star got removed from the list, which is now rotated, but Energy Burst still very powerful. Also, if you think about the fact that sometimes there is going to be an the Centiskorch VMAX with a lot of energies. The more energies the opponent has, the more damage the Victini V does with Energy Burst. But not only that, the Spreading Flames is also very nice to just have a game-changing scenario where the opponent has to have the boss's orders. You could reset stamp and use Spreading Flames on moments where you don't have the welder, which is going to set up a Blacephalon for next turn, which is very, very dangerous. So I do love the fact that Victini V is part of the squad. With Metal Frying Pan rotating out of the format, we can also hit weakness against Zacian, the most popular V Pokemon out there, with only having 2 energies here. So sometimes if a Blacephalon survives or you just have an attach of the turn and later use Welder and attach on the turn somewhere else, you can set this Victini up in the background, but I do recommend only using Blacephalon. It's a one prizer. You will go through things like the Decidueye, which we've already talked about before on the channel, as well as go through the most powerful VMAXs the format has ever seen. Think about Eternatus. We one-shot that regardless. It also smacks a huge amount of damage, but we are a one prizer, which is going to be awesome. Cramorant is still part of the gang because sniping 160 damage still gets the numbers done on things like, of course, the Dedenne-GX, but could also be a game-changing scenario if you don't get the first one-hit KO, and if the opponent does not heal off its active Pokemon, you can snipe with Split Shot, which only requires 3 energies instead of like having 6 energies in total to dish out 150 with a Blacephalon. We still have Oricorio. Thank God, this is a fantastic card. If one of our Pokemon got knocked out during the opponent's last turn, we can draw 3 cards, but we are also gonna pair it up with Lucky Egg. Lucky Egg also was part of the deck previously. We don't have Adventure back. That's why we're running 2 copies of Lucky Egg. I know Tool Scrapper is in the format, but Tool Scrapper is mostly a one-off and is not in every deck. They also need to find it at the correct time. Good times because we can have Lucky Egg equipped to Blacephalon at one time, smack down the reset stamp, get the huge KO, and even if the opponent doesn't knock us out, we get all the energies. They still stick onto Blacephalon, which is awesome. If they knock it out, we get cards until we have 7 in the hand, and that's gonna go crazy because in the late game, Fire Crystal and Energy Retrieval will become very powerful item cards to get our energies back. Maybe including more energies might be a thing you want to think about. Maybe cutting the reset stamp, adding another energy, because we don't have a cheeky way to win like we had before. Blacephalon GX, no burst GX action. You just have to set up a Blacephalon. But mostly in the late game, I do it like this: is set up a Victini V and try to go for a weaker Pokemon. For instance, you can also go for Great Catcher Shenanigans on the Dedenne to uptrade. So sometimes it's going to have a good time. Also, you don't always need, some people try and include boss's orders in here. I don't think you need it because mostly the format will be filled with those powerful VMAX Pokemon. This is probably one of the few one prize decks that is still surviving, and the good news about this one prize deck is that if you knock out 2 VMAXs, you win the game, and with 13 energies, 4 crystals and 2 retrievals, you're gonna have a good time. Maybe you can cut down on 1 spinner and add in another retrieval. It all depends on your personal playstyle, but Babe Blacephalon survives, and that's what I wanted to showcase in this video. I am a huge fan of Palpad because that means you have actually 6 welders to work with, and that is going to work out because Blacephalon, there's 4 big blounds in here. Then you can attack with a Cramorant, and you can also attack with Victini. So if you have welder on all of these fellas, it's going to be awesome. Dedenne is also in here. You might even swap that out to a Crobat V, but I do think explosive Dedenne early on, discarding lots of energies. Let's say you use Energy Spinner, then Dedenne, then you can actually use your Fire Crystals early on in the game, which is fantastic to be explosive as ever before. Yeah, I do love the fact that you can also use Giant Heart. In the past, I think I only played 1 Heat Factory, then added up 1 Ultra Space, but now we have 4 physical copies of Blacephalon, so we shouldn't be worried at all. And also, considering the fact that Dragapult is leaving the format a little bit, one of our harder matchups, definitely because they reset stamp and Pyroplant you. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Blacephalon is here to stay to one-shot VMAXs. So this is the list. Welder is busted as ever, lots of energies, Heat Factory is gone, but we do have Giant Heart, and relying on Giant Heart is automatically 100 additional damage because you get 2 fighter energies from the deck. If you want to include tech cards, there's no need for Ninetales V. People suggested Ninetales V, but Ninetales V copies attacks. What are you gonna copy? You can copy a Brave Blade, but it's better to just one-shot with Victini V instead. You could copy the attack of the Eternatus V Max, but that only works for Darkness type Pokemon, so that's also not gonna work out. So I think Victini V is their best shot. If more 1-price fire decks or maybe a 2-price fire Pokemon come out, you might think about including it in here. Also, other options are Eldegoss V, so you can reuse your Welders, but as mentioned, I'm a huge fan of Palpa. That's the reason why we do this. And also Marshadow is good to get rid of Chaotic as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the updated Baby Blacephalon list. I'm a huge fan of Baby Blacephalon, played it during the entire season, got me lots of championship points, even prestige events like invitationals and all that. So Blacephalon, don't sleep on this deck. I know it loses the Fiery Flint, which we don't like, and Blacephalon GX, those are the biggest cards the deck loses, but with Energy Spinner and Giant Heart still in the format, I have no doubt in my mind that the Blacephalon deck will survive. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day. Destroy the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video very, very shortly. I'm out. Peace.